Welcome back. This video is about bilingual parenting. I'm just going to go over the different things we have done and we plan on doing to raise a bilingual child. I have my Ollie pup right here. Lena's taking a nap, so let's get started. I wrote some notes down so I won't forget. But basically, there are different methods that you can use to raise a bilingual child. There's one where both parents will speak Spanish to that child up until school age, and that's when they'll introduce English, and it will be introduced at school, and they'll still speak Spanish to the child at home. There's another method where both parents speak English and Spanish at the same time, and the method that we're using is called OPOL method, which is one parent, one language. So I strictly speak to my daughter in Spanish, and my husband speaks to her strictly in English. And we have done this since she's been born. I went back and forth on if I will do both English and Spanish, like me talking to her, but since my husband speaks mainly English, I felt that I would have fall back and mainly use English because it's something that we both use every day. So I went ahead from the beginning, like, I'm just going to speak to her in Spanish, which was a little awkward at the beginning because the only time I speak really in Spanish is with my family and whenever I need to interpret or anything like that. So that's the first thing that we're doing is OPOL method. So one parent, one language. So when it comes to books, let's say I have English book right here. She's still at the age where she's flipping through pages. So what I will do is just describe everything in Spanish. So let's say English book, I'll just describe it in Spanish. I don't even try to translate the words yet because she's just flipping through it so quick. If you haven't taken advantage of Imagination Library just yet, please do. They have an option where you can either pick English or you can pick Spanish strictly, or you can do both. So you can do a bilingual book, and we get one each month, and it's free. You sign up for it when the child is born. You don't have to do this. This is just something I did because I have been interested in sign language. So when she was around 2-3 months old, I started to sign to her, just basic things, and she has picked up on sign language quite easily, and it has been a great tool. Not that I was planning on it, but it has been a great tool to merge both English and Spanish. So right now she understands both languages between my husband and I whenever we talk to her, but the way she communicates with us both is through sign language. So I suggest getting this book, and it'll just say simple signs and explain to you at the bottom how to sign. So this is a great tool. That's something that I have started to, I got into. And in that, there's this mom that I found on TikTok, and she is actually raising her child to be bilingual as well, and also doing sign language with him. And he's a little bit older. Not a little bit, he's around 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old, and she made these right here. So I plan to laminate them, but basically she chose words that start with the same letter in both languages, and I plan to laminate those and put them in her room. So just wanted to quickly go over that ASL has been a great tool to merge both languages. Now, I do speak to my daughter Spanish, I would say 98% of the time. The only time I don't speak to her in Spanish is when I read an out loud book, and the reason for that is originally my plan was for me to only speak to her in Spanish, and then when she went into school, then she will be introduced into English. However, I've been very interested in homeschooling, and obviously I will have to talk to her in English and in Spanish, and I want her to get comfortable with me talking to her in English, because when I came to the United States, I was 6'7", and I grew up with my mom speaking to me in Spanish at home all throughout my life. She knows English, so now when she tries to speak to me in English, like if we're in a social setting, it just doesn't feel comfortable to me. It just feels unnatural. So I want her to feel comfortable with me speaking both languages, especially when she becomes a teenager and she's just going through teenager things. I want her to feel comfortable, come to me and talk to me which language she wants to talk to me in. Podcasts. So I introduced podcasts when she was a little baby as well. When we would go on walks, I would put on a podcast and it will be Spanish podcasts. I've introduced 2 other ones that are in English, but mainly the ones we listen to are in Spanish, and I'll try and link them below if I can. My name is Había una vez, Cuentos Increíbles, Cráneo, and I think that's it. If I'm missing one, I'll try and link them below, but podcasts as well, have them. So since I speak to her in Spanish, I want mainly the things that she hears when I'm around to be in Spanish. So podcasts, music, books in Spanish. For music, I do Spanish. I've done I'm sure both, where it's like Coco or Encanto, and their songs are bilingual. Some of them are. So I've introduced those. I've also done English songs, but mainly when it comes to anything she hears when she's around me, I want it to mainly be Spanish. So music, podcasts, books, and screen time. So screen time, we recently introduced screen time. I did not want to use it before this age just because personally I just didn't want to rely on it, and that's just a personal thing. So now that she's a little bit older, we have introduced it and we're using it as a tool. So we have introduced Bluey and Little Bear. So whenever she watches Little Bear or Bluey with me, I'll put it in Spanish and with Spanish subtitles. Later in the evening, her dad will put the same episode in English and with English subtitles. So that's just another tool that we use. Family. I told my family early on, before she was born, that I wanted them to strictly speak to her in Spanish. So whenever she's with my family, they'll speak to her in Spanish. Whenever she's with her dad's family, they'll strictly speak to her in English. So that's another thing. Oh, and there's a common worry that if you're teaching your child more than one language, that they will have a speech delay, and that's not true. If they have a speech delay, they would have had a speech delayed if they were learning just one language. Learning 2 languages does not cause having a speech delay. So I know that's a common worry. Now, there are a couple toys that I want to go over. So we bought this one, and it's the bilingual version. And let's see, turn it is on.
Hello, nice to meet you. Let's play now.
And let's say we have this card right here. So you'll just put it in here.
Helado.
And you can have it set where it's just in Spanish, or
Ice cream. Helado.
or both, or
Ice cream.
just in English. So I thought this was a great little tool.
Ice cream. Helado.
So I think this is a great little tool. It comes with a bunch of cards. I have another tool, and this one is strictly in English though. This one right here, we used this before introducing screen time. We'll still use it. I'm planning to get more stories, but basically it's a projector and it's like reading a book. And I like this, even though it's in English, she's getting introduced into English as well. So she's getting both Spanish and English. So these are 2 that I really enjoy, and I highly recommend. I don't know what the future will look for us because like I said, I'm really interested in homeschooling, and I really want her to have a good foundation in English and Spanish. I've looked into a homeschooling curriculum where it's strictly Spanish. So if I were to do homeschool, I would like to do both in English and Spanish, because again, I really want her, and not just her, whenever we have more kids, I really want them to have a good foundation in Spanish, and I would like them to continue to learn throughout high school, and whenever they go to college, they continue to learn proper Spanish. Whenever I was searching up videos when I was pregnant with her, I couldn't find many of what to do, how they're doing things. So I just want to go ahead and make this. So if you're interested in raising a bilingual child, you can look back on this video and kind of grab some tips if you want. If you have any comments, any other questions, please leave them down below. If you want me to make more videos showing how to do certain things, I can do that as well. I hope you guys like this video. See you guys next time.